Welcome back to the Stocks Update. Let's dive straight into what's happening with Lucid Motors today. We're witnessing a pretty stagnant performance from the stock. It hasn't moved much in either direction. The intraday low touched around $2.17, and the high hit approximately $2.24. So, as you can tell, there's not a whole lot of price fluctuation so far. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not financial or investment advice. If you decide to invest, please do your own research, your money, your decision. Now, in terms of trading activity, we've seen about 16.7 million shares exchange hands in just the first half hour after the market opened. That kind of early volume suggests we're on track for yet another high-volume trading session, which isn't unusual for Lucid these days. However, when you combine that with the complete absence of any new SEC filings, it raises some eyebrows. Well, one possible factor could be recent remarks from Donald Trump. In a bold move, he apparently gave several countries a deadline Wednesday to submit their most competitive offers. If they don't, the implication is they might face significant tariffs. It's an aggressive negotiating tactic, no doubt. Whether or not that has a direct effect on Lucid remains to be seen, but it's certainly contributing to the overall market sentiment. In other economic updates, we got a fresh batch of JOLTS data. Job openings came in stronger than expected, 7.3 million versus the projected 7.05 million. On the other hand, the number of people quitting their jobs was slightly down. Overall, this data paints a picture of a resilient labor market, which could actually complicate the Federal Reserve's plans for potential rate cuts. Now, that kind of data typically lifts the broader market. But for growth stocks, especially in the EV sector like Lucid, good economic data isn't always good news. Why? Because strong labor numbers can reduce the urgency for interest rate reductions, and that's something that hurts high-growth companies that rely on cheap capital. Strangely though, despite the high trading activity, there's still no actual news from Lucid itself. No press releases, no formal updates, no SEC filings, and yet the stock has fallen around 15% over the last 5 trading days. That's a significant drop with zero official explanation. I've previously explored several possible reasons. One major red flag analysts are raising is Lucid's decision to offer large discounts on their vehicles, some reports suggesting up to $3,500 off certain models. That's not a small price cut. When a company starts slashing prices, it usually hints at overstock or weak demand. Now, let's look at Lucid's recent price history. Back in March, the stock dipped to around $1.99, rebounded to $2.50 within 5 trading days, and then declined again. That kind of volatility shows just how driven Lucid stock is by speculation, not necessarily fundamentals. So if you're someone who believes in the long-term vision of the company, moments like these might present buying opportunities. Because 5 days from now, this stock could be back at $2.50 or higher, depending on market sentiment and news. Switching gears to the short interest, we're seeing some minor increases today. Around 118,000 more shares have been shorted, bringing the total short interest to 31.14% of Lucid's free float, which equals about 384 million shares. That's a huge number. Lucid is clearly a target for short sellers. This leads me to a thought: wouldn't it be something if Lucid's leadership finally stood up and made a public statement? Something along the lines of, "We're confident in our company's future. Anyone betting against us is making a mistake." Bold leadership. Kind of like what the Palantir CEO did, although he got a little wild with his language. But still, it sent a clear message. Well, they're mostly eyeing a bounce somewhere between $2 and $2.50, while the bears continue to bet on the stock falling below $2. This tug-of-war is what's creating all the short-term volatility. There's also been a number of large-scale trades over $100,000, both buying and selling. Institutions appear to be testing the waters, trying to establish a balance. However, dark pool activity remains unusually quiet, which is unusual given the volume. In terms of support and resistance levels, right now Lucid is hovering around $2.19, and it's testing key technical zones. If it drops below $2.18, the next support lies around $1.99. On the flip side, if the momentum shifts, we could see the stock climb back to $2.48, which would act as a short-term resistance. And just to keep you informed, Lucid does have its annual shareholder meeting scheduled for June 5th. But don't expect any fireworks, nothing exciting is on the agenda. If you want, I could do a live stream covering it. But as of now, there's no indication that the event will impact the stock in any meaningful way. Technically speaking, Lucid is still trading below all major moving averages, which means it's in a confirmed downtrend. But as we've seen many times before, all it takes is one positive announcement to flip the narrative. Maybe that's all we need. A single tweet, a quick press release, a response to the recent tariff talk. Even a simple clarification on the vehicle configurator issue could ignite a rally. At the very least, they need to fix the bugs on their website. I've noticed glitches and broken links multiple times in the past, and while that might seem like a small thing, it reflects poorly on the brand. Lucid's CEO has emphasized the importance of marketing and presentation, and yet their digital storefront tells a different story. So there's definitely room for improvement. Whether it's transparency, website functionality, or investor relations, Lucid needs to step up its game if it wants to win back investor confidence. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you buying this dip? Are you waiting for more clarity? Or are you sitting this one out entirely? If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you in-depth market analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.